Every agency in the state is helping in one way or another to clean up the Gulf oil spill. That includes the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry. This week in Louisiana Agriculture's Avery Davidson is standing by with Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain to get the very latest. Avery?
Mike, joining me now is Commissioner of Ag and Forestry, Dr. Mike Strain. And Dr. Strain, I know that you guys have been very involved, as well as all the other state agencies, in dealing with the oil spill. How's this affected you guys so far?
Well, what we're doing, we're there to provide logistical support, and also any of the assets in the Department of Ag and Forestry, we are, bringing forward at GOSEP, which is the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. What we've done, we've helped supply cages, for the different birds and that sort of thing. We're also there working in the area of food safety. So we're part of a number of teams that are involved. And so in addition to what is going on today, we're looking at where we're going in the future. Because when you look at this, we have the immediate concerns about the oil that's on the surface. And then we also have the concerns about the subsurface oil, where that's going to go, how long it's going to stay, and what the effects are going to be on all of our industries. Specifically, when you look at our offshore seafood industry, look at oysters, shrimp, crabs, offshore catfish, offshore finfish, and all those entities, as well as what happens when it gets into the estuaries, which is the breeding ground for a lot of waterfowl and also for many of our other species. And if it gets inland, what does it do to the alligator industry? What could happen if it, by chance, it could get further up, into the freshwater industries? And so we're also looking at that as the total overall effect, one, on all of our seafood industries, just like what it could have, the effect it could have on the catfish industry from the negative publicity, crawfish industry, negative publicity. And we're telling everybody all of our inland things are fine, all of our seafood is fine, it's being tested. We're also serving on a task force where we will be looking specifically at all of the different seafood industries, and also with the fish that are caught in the sport industry. It's a $3 billion industry. Taking tissue samples, we will continue to be doing monitoring. We're ramping up our laboratory testing and our field personnel, and we're a part of that. We serve on all those task forces. We're part of that team. A number of our people will be doing the physical inspections at the point of entry of all of our seafood into our processing plants to make absolutely sure that our seafood is 100% safe, and we're going to be making sure that the public knows about that.
You and I were speaking just a moment ago about some of the long-term effects, and just to be clear, all of the seafood out there right now is perfectly safe. It's absolutely safe. But you're also going to have people working on this for, the next 10 years? At
least the next 10 years. We don't know how long it's going to take. It will depend scientifically on where the oil goes. If it goes to the bottom, how long it takes to break down and how it moves and how it could potentially impact our fisheries. The governor's office and all of his teams and everyone, Ag Center including, have been very proactive in getting early samples. So we have baselines for all of our seafood to know, what the chemistry makeup is, and testing for the things that we think might show up if there was a problem.
And right here, we're sort of on the precipice for what could be a perfect storm against Louisiana agriculture if we were to have a hurricane. While this oil is still out there, storm surge could potentially bring some of that oil inland. And I know the folks in Vermilion Parish know all too well about what happens with the storm surge.
Well, if you look at the storm surge, especially if you look at Gustav and Ike, we had 7 to 10 feet and up to 10 to 15 miles inland from those storm surges. We're very lucky is that, generally, we are in hurricane season. That's fixing to start, right? We're getting ready to go into that, and it will continue until October. But the majority of the fiercest storms are in late August, September, October. So we have a short window of time between now and then to get this problem dealt with now. Because what we're concerned about is if this continues and we get into hurricane season, if you did have a hurricane, which you could have, that could bring those oils and all those chemicals inland. And that would be a very big problem, because then once the water went by, it would settle onto the earth, and then it could affect, our agricultural sectors and also our marshes and our wetlands. We're very concerned about that. We're very concerned about the ecosystem, in the coast and in the wetlands, because if you disturb that, remember, when you think about our ecosystem, the marshes and the wetlands, it's very delicate. It's dynamic, but it's delicate. And if we lose that, once you lose it, you've seen, if you've watched, looked at photographs over the last 50 years, you see that it's not coming back. It's very difficult to get it back. And I know the governor and also Washington is working very, very hard, talking about building some sand barriers between the barrier islands to try to stop it from coming inland into the estuary, so that's good. So there are many things that we will be working with our Office of Soil and Water Conservation, and that, looking at all those different things as well. So it is very important. I think there's going to be a lot of things that we may see that we haven't seen before, but I can tell you this entire government is geared up to deal with it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Commissioner Mike Strain.
You.
And Mike, we're going to show you in just a little bit exactly some of the things the LSU Ag Center is doing to help out those marshlands. Back to you.
Thanks, Avery.